Here are a few of the strangest animals you'll see in Africa. Number 9. Desert rain frog. To some people, the desert rain frog might look like a genetic mistake, but this frog is one of the many unique creatures that make their home on the African continent. Some people actually find this frog kinda cute, and if you stare at it long enough, it kinda is. The more you look at it, it kinda looks like the frog version of Gudetama. Native to Namibia and South Africa, these frogs typically make their home on sandy strips between the seashore and sand dunes. As a nocturnal creature, they spend most of the day burrowed up in sand, where it's cool and moist. They have a patch on their belly that uses blood vessels to absorb water from the sand. When the sun goes down, they'll emerge from the sand to patrol the area for insects to eat. In addition to their bizarre appearance, they also make a bizarre noise. Whenever they feel threatened, they will produce a high-pitched noise that's been described as sounding like a squeaky toy. Unfortunately, predation isn't the #1 threat to these frogs. Surprise, surprise, it's habitat destruction again. Human activities such as mining for diamonds and roadway expansion is threatening their existence. As a result, their population has seen a rapid decline in recent years. Number 8. Pangolin. In the woodlands, savanna, and sandy regions of Africa, you'll find one of Africa's most distinctive-looking creatures, the pangolin. Known for their large scales, the pangolin is the only known mammal in the animal kingdom to feature scales. Their scales are made of keratin, which is the same material that's in our fingernails. These protective scales make up roughly 20% of their body weight. As nocturnal beings, pangolins hunt for ants and other insects at night, using their long tongues to scoop up their food. While large predators such as a lion will sometimes succeed in hunting a pangolin, usually pangolins can roll themselves up into a ball and use their hard exterior to protect themselves. Their scales are sharp as well. Think about a walking pine cone, and that's kind of what a pangolin is like. Their skin is so tough, people used to make coats of armor from it, but that's not all the tricks they have. They can also spray a foul odor from behind, similar to the spray of a skunk, as another defensive mechanism. Despite looking weird and smelling bad, the pangolin is the most hunted and trafficked animal in the world. Prized for their meat and perceived medical benefits, they're often hunted by the bush people in Africa. Hundreds of thousands of pangolins are trafficked each year to places such as China for similar reasons. Add their trafficking in with deforestation, and the pangolin is unfortunately in decline. Number 7. Shoebill. You might know it as the whalehead, but a shoebill got its name because its bill is as big as a shoe, and it's shaped like one too. Found in the swamps of eastern Africa, the shoebill looks like they belong with the dinosaurs. Well, okay, they didn't hang out with dinosaurs, but they're still impressive birds. While they pose no threat to humans, they pretty much rule the swamp. With a wingspan of nearly 8 feet wide, they're imposing figures for sure. Eels, lungfish, catfish, snakes, and even baby crocodiles are easy prey for the shoebill. When they hunt, they don't swoop in from above or chase down their prey. Like some sort of feathered Machiavellian genius, they'll stand by the water's edge, literally motionless. Then they wait. They wait for whatever unlucky creature swims or slithers by, with no clue they're on today's menu. Then they pounce with their massive beaks wide open. They trap their prey with their large bills. These massive birds of prey often appear in ancient Egyptian artwork, suggesting people have understandably been fascinated by them for some time. One interesting fact about these guys is they poo on their legs. As bad as that sounds, it actually helps them stay warm. Well, that's one way to stay warm. Number 6. Black rain frog. At first glance, the black rain frog might look like something from Super Mario's world, but this little frog is really found along the southern coast of Africa. That bloated, grumpy look you're seeing is actually a pretty clever defense mechanism. They can inflate themselves like a balloon so that they're more difficult for predators to catch. They also like to dig underground tunnels to escape from potential predators and to store their eggs during mating season. While digging, they'll go into inflate mode so that they can't be plucked out by predators. For the black rain frog, summertime means mating time. The female will produce a sticky substance on her back for the male. That sounds like a role reversal. Anyways, this allows the male frog to hop on her back and get down to business without slipping off. And because the female was so nice to not let him slip, The male in turn will offer to stay in the burrow and guard the eggs until they've hatched. Okay, we're just guessing on why the male frog guards the eggs, but hey, maybe they're just a good dad. Number 5. Bateared Fox. Anytime you start combining animal names to form a species, it either A, sounds made up, or B, is a really strange creature. In the case of the bat-eared fox, it's the latter. It's real and it's strange looking. Found in the African savanna, the bat-eared fox's most distinctive feature is its bat-like ears. The cool thing about their ears is that they're used for a process known as thermoregulation. That's essentially a fancy way to say these animals are able to regulate their own body temperature, regardless of the surrounding atmosphere. Their ears have a lot of blood vessels to help them shed heat and keep cool as needed. But aside from looking weird, the bat-eared fox spends most of its time doing regular fox things. They prefer to eat insects such as termites, beetles, grasshoppers, crickets, and scorpions. But they will eat small birds, reptiles, and mammals. When it comes to hunting, once they find out an insect's location, they'll quickly dig through the ground, and boom, just like that, it's time to feast. Number 4. Greater Kudu. Not to be confused with their cousin, the lesser kudu, the greater kudu is an antelope species living in southern and eastern Africa. Despite growing up to an impressive 8 feet long and weighing around 600 pounds, they're often preyed upon by lions, hyenas, and sometimes even crocodiles. A full-grown male, known as a bull, can usually hold their own against big cats such as cheetahs and leopards. But smaller kudus and females are a different story. They're often prime targets, as they aren't quick enough to escape an attack. About the only thing they have going for them is their good eyesight and advanced sense of hearing. Greater kudus have a lifespan of 7 to 8 years in the wild. And guess what it could be in captivity? Up to pretty much almost 3 times that, at 23 years, if they're well taken care of. Their numbers have steadily fallen in recent years, however. This is because humans have turned a lot of their habitat into farmland, and their horns are often prized by hunters. On the flip side, wells and irrigation systems set up by people have allowed them to occupy territory that otherwise wouldn't have drinking water. The result is that they boast a wide range of habitats in the region, despite a thinning population. So we have helped them out somewhat, even if it's inadvertently. Number 3. Mantled Graza. We can't imagine what it was like the first time a human saw Mantled Graza. Whoever it was probably was surprised. The first actual record of a Mantled Graza was in 1830, when German explorer Edward Ruppel discovered and wrote about the Mantled Graza. This fascinating monkey species makes its home in Central and East Africa, and is one of the most distinctive looking monkeys. Their mantle, the long white hair along the side of their body, is their most defining feature. Exactly the reason for their name. Like many other primates, they're social creatures, living in groups of 3 to 15 monkeys. Typically, these groups consist of a lone alpha male, along with some females and some infants. There are groups with multiple males, but there typically is still one dominant male. Do we need to say that it's the dominant male who gets to mate with the multiple females? The Mantled Graza can communicate with each other with sounds that can be heard up to a mile away. Once the dominant male begins to roar, others will respond with a roar of their own. These roars can often display the male's size and status within the group. Hold up, who knew that monkeys could roar? Number 2. Prickly bush viper. The prickly bush viper is another venomous snake found in Central Africa. How many venomous snakes does the world need anyways? However, for this snake, their defining feature is their scales, which earned them their name. In fact, they have a number of other nicknames as well. The spiny bush viper, the rough-scaled viper, and the African hairy bush viper are a few of their other names. Whatever you want to call them, try not to encounter one in the wild. Mostly found in countries such as Uganda, Kenya, and the Congo, this viper is nocturnal and feeds mainly on small rodents, frogs, lizards, and the occasional bird. Their venom contains a neurotoxin that can be quite dangerous to humans if proper treatment isn't applied. Until recently, their venom used to be regarded as less toxic than that of other venomous snakes. They tend to live in dense regions of the rainforest, so interactions with humans are pretty rare. Prickly bush vipers are excellent climbers, and that's where they like to hang out and hunt. They can often be found lounging at the top of bushy plants, where they enjoy basking in the sun most of the day. Number 1. Hammerheaded Bat. Bats freak people out. Maybe it's the close ties to the vampire, or maybe it's that they're these nocturnal creatures who lurk around in dark caves. So what happens when you get an abnormally large bat that looks almost demonic? This large bat, also known as the big-lipped bat, is found in equatorial Africa and truly looks like something from a nightmare. With a wingspan of a whopping 38 inches, the hammerheaded bat has the distinction of being Africa's largest bat. And while they look like they might be a pet that the devil would keep, they really pose no major threat to humans. These mild-mannered creatures eat fruits such as figs, mangoes, bananas, and guavas. They're believed to carry the Ebola virus. However, scientists aren't sure if they're incidental hosts or a reservoir for the virus. Right now, the thinking is that other animals are much more likely to transmit the disease. But just to be safe, maybe don't get too close to them in the wild. Here's what's next.